Chosen ones, why your betrayal is a gateway to higher spiritual dimension. We all speak of chosen ones as if they are distant myths, as if they are beings from ancient scriptures or legends passed down by the elders. But what if I told you? No, what if I reminded you that the chosen one is not someone else? It's you. Not in a metaphorical, feel-good, everyone is special way. I mean it literally. You were chosen, not for comfort, not for ease, but for a path so intense, so divinely designed, that even betrayal becomes a sacred passage. Let me ask you this. Have you ever been betrayed so deeply that it shattered the foundation of who you thought you were? Maybe by a friend, a lover, a parent, maybe even by life itself. That moment, the moment of betrayal, didn't break you. It broke open the illusion. It cracked the shell of your previous identity, and in that crack, light started seeping through.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lesson.
We often think of betrayal as the ultimate failure of trust. But what if betrayal is the universe's way of tearing down the walls that keep us from the truth? What if the pain was never punishment, but permission? Permission to see what you couldn't see before. Permission to awaken. Permission to remember. You see, the chosen ones don't get to walk the easy road. Their awakening is not gentle. It comes through fire. It comes through abandonment, through rejection, through the kind of heartbreak that makes you question everything. And that's the point, because until you question everything, you're still asleep. When I was young, I remember feeling like I didn't belong. Like every room I entered, I was observing more than participating. Like I could hear what people weren't saying. Like I could feel the weight of their emotions even when they smiled. Maybe you felt that too. Maybe you've always known that you were different. Not better, just different, more aware. And because of that, you were easy to betray. But here's the twist. The betrayal didn't happen to you, it happened for you. Because nothing awakens the soul faster than being pierced by the very people you gave your heart to. That's when the illusions fall away. That's when the masks drop. That's when the path begins. And let's be honest, how many of us would truly begin the spiritual path if everything kept going perfectly, if everyone kept loving us, if every plan succeeded? No, we need the fall. The chosen ones must fall. Hard. They must be betrayed, abandoned, exiled. Not because the world is cruel, but because the soul is ready. What if your deepest betrayal wasn't a mistake, but a signal? What if that moment of pain was your spiritual initiation? A rite of passage into a higher dimension of being. You see, betrayal strips away the ego. It humbles you. It forces you to ask questions that no one else dares to ask. Who am I without them? Who am I when no one is clapping? Who am I when everything I thought I was is gone? That's when the real journey begins. That's when the soul starts speaking louder than the mind. That's when you realize you were never who you thought you were. You are not your job, your relationships, your achievements. You are the eternal witness. You are the consciousness behind the experience. And that awareness, that sacred remembering, is the doorway to the higher dimension. Let me ask you something else. What if everyone who betrayed you had a soul contract with you? What if, before this life, you and they agreed that they would hurt you, not out of cruelty, but out of love? because only through that hurt would you wake up. Only through that pain would you remember your essence. Crazy? Maybe. But doesn't it also make sense in a deeper way? Doesn't your soul already know this? Doesn't some part of you feel a strange gratitude for the ones who broke your heart, not because you liked the pain, but because it forced you to grow? It forced you to see. And here's the paradox. The more awakened you become, the more betrayal you may face, because as your light grows, you trigger the shadows in others. As your truth expands, the lies around you get louder. People won't always understand you. They'll project onto you, abandon you, even attack you. And you'll wonder, is this what awakening feels like? Yes. This is what the path of the chosen one looks like. It's not glamorous. It's not always peaceful, but it is sacred. And every blow you take, every loss you endure, every tear you shed, each one is part of your transformation. Each one is a key to a door you didn't even know existed. Do you think the great sages, the mystics, the prophets had easy lives? No. They were rejected by their own people. They were betrayed by those closest to them. But they didn't let that destroy them. They let it refine them. They turned their pain into power. And so can you. This is not about bypassing pain or pretending betrayal doesn't hurt. It does. It cuts deep. But the spiritual warrior doesn't stay in victimhood. The chosen one doesn't collapse forever. They rise. They transmute. They alchemize betrayal into wisdom, into compassion, into clarity. And that's the real gift. Because once you've been betrayed and survived, you become unshakable. You stop fearing loss. You stop clinging. You realize that what is real can never be lost, and what is false will always fall away. That's freedom. That's the higher dimension. So if you're watching this, and you're in the aftermath of betrayal, let me tell you, you are not broken. You are breaking through. You are not abandoned. You are being aligned. You are not lost. You are being led. The pain you feel is not the end. It is the beginning of your initiation. The universe didn't forget you. It chose you. It trusted you to endure what others couldn't. It trusted you to walk the lonely road, to face the fire, and to come out the other side radiant with truth. You are the chosen one, not because you are better, but because you are willing to feel deeply, willing to lose everything false, willing to walk alone if you must. And in that willingness, you become a vessel for something greater. You become a bridge between the seen and the unseen. You become the living proof that betrayal is not the end, it's the threshold. Take a moment. Look at your own life. Where have you been betrayed? Who hurt you the most? And what did that pain teach you? Who did you become because of it? Did it not strip you down to something raw, something real, something eternal? You are not here by accident. You are here because your soul is ready, ready to rise, ready to remember, ready to reclaim its place in the higher realm. The sacred alchemy of pain, turning betrayal into divine power. There comes a point in every chosen one's path when the pain becomes so overwhelming, so all-consuming, that the only logical reaction is collapse. But what if collapse is sacred? What if the crumbling of your identity, your trust, your expectations is actually a divine dismantling? a spiritual surgery designed not to punish you but to purify you. When I speak of betrayal, I don't just mean someone cheating or lying. I mean the betrayal of your hopes, the betrayal of your innocence, the betrayal of your inner child who believed that if you gave love, you'd receive it back, that if you did everything right, things would go your way. We've all believed that at some point. But the universe doesn't operate by the rules of fairness. It operates by the laws of evolution, and nothing evolves the soul faster than betrayal. You see, betrayal is a mirror. It reflects not only the pain others inflicted upon you, but also the illusions you held about yourself, about love, about life. And when that mirror shatters, you are given a rare opportunity to gather the broken pieces, examine them one by one, and decide what you want to keep. That's the alchemy. Alchemy is not turning lead into gold. It's turning pain into power. It's not a metaphor. It's a spiritual technology. The chosen ones learn to take the weight of their wounds and use it to deepen their presence. They don't escape the pain, they enter it fully. They allow it to burn through the layers of falsehood until only the truth remains. You might ask, how do I do that? How do I turn my betrayal into power when I can barely breathe through the grief? The answer is not easy, but it is simple. You feel it, all of it, without numbing, without running, without blaming. You sit in the fire of your pain until it teaches you what it came to teach. You ask your heartbreak what it's trying to reveal. You stop asking why they did it and start asking why your soul attracted it. That's where the transformation begins, not in the mind, but in the heart. Because the heart knows how to transmute. The mind wants revenge, the heart wants truth, and truth is the highest vibration there is. When you align with it, even your wounds become weapons of awakening. Let me tell you something radical. Your pain is intelligent. It's not random, it's not chaotic, it's coded. Every betrayal you've experienced has been encoded with specific frequencies designed to unlock parts of you that were dormant. Think about that. What if the person who broke you was actually carrying a key, one that could only be activated through the fracture? Would you still call them your enemy, or would you see them as a disguised teacher? I'm not saying you have to keep toxic people in your life. Boundaries are sacred, but I am saying this. If you don't extract the lesson from the betrayal, you will repeat it. Only when you rise above the story can you see the soul-level contract. Only when you stop identifying as the victim can you reclaim your power as the alchemist. And here's the secret most people miss. Your greatest power comes from your deepest wound. Why? Because that's where you had to build muscle. That's where you had to grow. That's where you had to remember who you were beneath the pain. And once you remember, no one can take that away from you. Have you ever noticed how the most powerful people, the ones who radiate presence, compassion, depth, have almost always gone through hell? That's not a coincidence. That's the sacred law of transformation. The fire doesn't destroy the chosen one, it reveals them. It strips away the false identities, the need for approval, the addiction to being understood. It leaves only the essence, and essence is indestructible. So I ask you now, not just with your mind, but with your soul, what are you still carrying from your betrayals that's weighing you down? What stories are you still telling yourself about what they did and what it means about you? Are you ready to let those stories die so that something greater can be born? Here's the truth. If you can look at your betrayer and say thank you, not from sarcasm, but from sincerity, then you are free. Not because they changed, not because they apologized, but because you alchemized the pain. You turned it into wisdom. You turned it into compassion. You turned it into power. And that power is not loud. It doesn't need to prove itself. It's quiet, still, magnetic. It radiates from your being like a soft light that others feel, even if they don't understand it. That's the power of the chosen one. Not domination, but illumination. You didn't go through what you went through for nothing. You went through it so that you could become a living transmission of what's possible, so that others could look at you and say, if they made it out of that, maybe I can too. That's your gift to the world. That's your sacred responsibility. You are not the betrayal. You are the awakening that emerged from it. You are not the wound. You are the healer that it birthed. You are not the victim. You are the alchemist. When the world turns against you, the hidden doors in isolation. There is a moment in the journey of the chosen one that feels like death, not of the body but of the identity. It's that terrifying silence after betrayal, when the people you trusted have vanished, when the phone stops ringing, when the invitations stop coming. You look around and realize, I am alone. Not metaphorically, not creatively, but truly, viscerally, spiritually alone. And in that stillness, something ancient stirs within you. You see, isolation isn't punishment, it's purification. In a world addicted to noise, to validation, to constant external feedback, being alone feels like exile. But for the chosen ones, that exile is sacred. Isolation is the cocoon where transformation happens. It's in that deep emptiness that the old you begins to dissolve and the true you begins to emerge. We've been conditioned to fear solitude. We think being alone means being unloved. But solitude is not loneliness. It is presence without distraction. It is the space where the divine finally has room to speak, and it will speak if you're brave enough to listen. When the world turns against you, it's not because you've failed, it's because you've outgrown what no longer serves you. The betrayal, the rejection, the abandonment, they're all contractions before the rebirth. The people who fell away were not your enemies, they were your mirrors. And when your reflection no longer matched their version of you, they left. Because your isolation is a signal that something powerful is happening. You're being called inward, back into your own soul. You're being asked to stop outsourcing your worth and to remember that your value doesn't come from how others see you. It comes from the depth of your being, and that depth is only revealed in silence. What if the people who left your life were never meant to stay for the whole journey? What if their role was to take you to the edge and then disappear so you could find your wings? What if the darkness you're experiencing isn't the absence of light, but the womb of a new consciousness forming? In isolation, strange things begin to happen. Old memories rise, forgotten dreams resurface, and most of all, your soul starts whispering truths that the noise of the world had drowned out. You begin to see how much of your life was lived trying to earn love, trying to be good enough, trying to be seen. But now, there is no one to perform for, no one to impress, just you and the divine. And in that sacred solitude, you begin to see that your betrayal was a form of grace, because without it, you would have kept clinging, you would have stayed small, you would have sacrificed your soul for belonging. But now, stripped of all your roles and titles, you meet yourself, the real you, the unfiltered, untamed, eternal you. This is the moment when many people give up. The loneliness is unbearable, the silence feels like death. But for those who endure, for those who stay in the stillness long enough, something miraculous happens. A doorway opens, not outside you, inside you. A doorway to a dimension that cannot be touched by betrayal, rejection, or loss. A dimension where you are already whole, already divine, already free. Once you taste that freedom, you realize you never needed them to see you. You needed you to see you. You never needed their loyalty. You needed your own. You never needed their approval. You needed to approve of your own sacred path. This is where true spiritual power is born, not in being celebrated, but in being stripped, not in being understood, but in being misunderstood, and still standing in your truth. That's when you know you've crossed the threshold. That's when you become immovable. So I ask you, are you still chasing the ones who left? Are you still trying to make sense of the betrayal? Or are you ready to walk through the hidden door that only opens in isolation? Because behind that door is your real self. The self that doesn't beg, the self that doesn't shrink, the self that doesn't betray its own soul for the comfort of others. Behind that door is a power so quiet, so unwavering, that the world begins to shift around you, not because you forced it, but because you aligned with something higher. This is the gift of isolation. It strips away all that is not you. It burns away the masks, the roles, the illusions, and what remains is pure essence. That essence is your power. That essence is your calling. That essence is why you were chosen. So the next time you feel abandoned, remember, you are not being cast out. You are being called into your own sanctuary, into your own soul, into the dimension where nothing can truly betray you, because nothing can take away what is eternally yours. From womb to weapon, walking the earth as a living portal. There comes a time after the betrayal, after the isolation, after the long dark night of the soul, when you realize something extraordinary. You didn't just survive it, you became something because of it, and not something broken or lesser or bitter, no. You became radiant, you became formless and unshakable. The betrayal, the exile, the pain, it didn't destroy you, it carved you. It hollowed you out so the divine could move through you unobstructed. This is when you become a living portal, not a person chasing enlightenment, but a being embodying it. You walk into rooms and shift the atmosphere not because you try, but because you are. You've turned your wound into a weapon, not of violence, but of presence, a sacred blade that cuts through illusion, that slices through superficiality, that calls others to remember who they are simply by being near you. And here's the paradox. The more pain you've transmuted, the more peace you carry, not the peace of avoidance, but the peace of integration. You are no longer running from your story, you own it. Every scar becomes a doorway. Every heartbreak becomes a mantra. You speak not from theory, but from direct experience. And that experience is truth. People feel it before you speak a word. You no longer beg for belonging because you've realized you are the belonging. You carry home within you. You don't need them to understand anymore. You don't need to explain your journey to those who haven't walked through that kind of fire. You sit in your stillness, and those who are meant to see will see. But this state of being brings a new kind of responsibility, because once you become a living portal, people are drawn to your light. They'll come with their questions, their wounds, their shadows, and you'll be tempted to fix them. Don't. Your job is not to rescue. Your job is to reflect, to hold the mirror steady while they see themselves, to remind them that they too were chosen, that their pain too is sacred. Because now you know the secret. Pain is not the enemy. Comfort is. Numbness is. Stagnation is. Pain, when faced with presence, becomes revelation. And revelation becomes liberation. You've walked this path. You've faced the betrayal, the silence, the burning, and now you walk in truth. So I ask you, what will you do with this power? Will you hide it? Will you soften it so others feel comfortable? Or will you stand fully in it, unapologetically, knowing that your very existence is a transmission of what's possible? Because the world doesn't need more people pretending to be healed. It needs more people who've been broken open by life and turned their wounds into wisdom. It needs more living portals, more spiritual warriors, more chosen ones who remember that the betrayal didn't close the door, it opened it. And maybe, just maybe, you were never betrayed at all. Maybe you were redirected. Maybe the divine used the hands of others to pull you out of the life that would have suffocated your spirit. Maybe it was all grace, disguised as grief. Now, the choice is yours. Will you keep carrying the story of pain, or will you carry the frequency of freedom? Will you keep looking back, or will you walk forward? Eyes open, heart unguarded, soul on fire. You are no longer the person who was betrayed. You are the one who rose because of it. You are not here to fit in. You are here to transmit, to bless every space you enter with your presence, to walk the earth as a reminder that even the deepest wound can become the holiest offering. Walk wisely, walk boldly, walk as the portal you are.